The Telegraph are reporting that Sean Dyche is now a potential candidate for the Tottenham Hotspur job. Zerbi has said that he's still only interested in a move in the summer, with a Tottenham fan group saying no to Zerbi, wanting the club to focus on their own values and principles. Bissouma to leave in the summer, an international roundup, and Gus Poyet is the latest Spurs legend to say that he could save Tottenham from the drop. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee and I'm here with the daily Tottenham news headlines, here to talk about all the rumours, the news and the reports coming out today. If you're new around here and you're not subscribing to the channel, please do consider giving us a sub, as that will help the channel grow. Like, comment and share in the comment section below. If you're listening on audio platforms, please do give us a follow, and if you can, please give us a review. So, lots and lots of stuff to talk about again. It doesn't stop, even though it's international weekend. So let's get straight into it and go through these stories. So the Daily Telegraph have reported that Sean Dyche is a potential candidate to take over at THFC for the last 7 Premier League games. First choice Robert De Zerbi continues to hold out on a start in a new job now and prefers a move in the summer. Fabrizio Romano on Robert De Zerbi at Tottenham. I maintain my information on De Zerbi. The idea of Roberto De Zerbi has always been about the end of the season. If Tottenham stay in the Premier League, to get the job at the end of the season is something that De Zerbi would consider. So that remains the focus. Let's see if Tottenham decide to make one more attempt for De Zerbi now. But at the moment, so far, in the last 4 or 5 weeks, De Zerbi never opened the doors to an immediate job at Tottenham, only focusing eventually on the summer. So De Zerbi would be open to a summer move, but at the moment, still nothing has changed at present. The fan-led official supporters association, Spurs Reach, have said no to De Zerbi. They released a statement on Friday stating the following: Spurs Reach is aware of reports linking Roberto De Zerbi with the managerial role at Tottenham Hotspur and wishes to express the concerns shared by many supporters. As a fan-led organisation that promotes inclusion and belonging, we believe the club must reflect values beyond football. Leadership choices shape culture, influence behaviour and determine who feels welcome within the game. Comments previously attributed to Roberto De Zerbi, including public remarks defending and contextualising Mason Greenwood following serious allegations, have been widely criticised for appearing to minimise the gravity of violence against women. Regardless of the intent, framing of this nature risks normalising harmful attitudes, diminishing the experience of survivors and sending a deeply concerning message about what is tolerated within the game. This matters to supporters, particularly women and survivors of abuse, players who rely on strong and reasonable leadership, staff who deserve a safe and respectful working environment. Tottenham Hotspur has positioned itself as a club that stands for inclusion, respect and accountability. Any decision must align with those principles. We all want the club to progress, but it must do so in a way that reflects its values. No to De Zerbi. Team Talk and London World have reported that Spurs midfielder Bissouma is set to leave the club on a free transfer at the end of the season when his contract expires. The North London club have an option to extend his deal by a further year until 2027, but various reports state they will not take up this option and the Mali international will depart in the summer instead. The 29-year-old has been out of favour for much of the campaign and hardly featured at all under former boss Thomas Frank. Amid injury problems last summer, reporting continues that Bissouma's agent is already in talks with other clubs to seal a departure this time around. European clubs such as Marseille, Nice and Galatasaray are touted as potential options, while the Premier League interest from Everton and West Ham has largely faded away. There is also the possibility of a move to the Saudi Pro League or to the MLS. The midfielder would free up space on the wage bill if he departs on a free, and a decision has been taken out of the hands of whoever arrives as the club's permanent manager ahead of the next season. International roundup involving Tottenham Hotspur players. A packed evening of international football provided mixed results with a number of players in 2026 World Cup qualifying playoffs action on Thursday night. It was delight for Lucas Bergvall on his 7th appearance for Sweden as he helped them advance to one of 4 European World Cup qualifying playoffs with a 3-win win over Ukraine in Valencia in Spain. The victory, in which Lucas played the final 12 minutes, sets up a winner-takes-all clash with Poland, who defeated Albania in the other semi-final playoff in Part B. Sadly, it was heartbreak for both Radu Dragushin for Romania and Jamie Donnelly's Northern Ireland, who both fell short at the semi-final stage of the European qualifying playoffs. Radu made his first appearance for his country since November 2024, his 28th in total, having missed the entire qualifying campaign due to an ACL injury. The defender played a full 90 minutes as Romania suffered a narrow 1-0 loss away to Turkey. Donnelly, who's currently on loan at Oxford United, also started for his nation, his 7th senior cap for Northern Ireland, and played 79 minutes in their 2-0 semi-final defeat away to Italy. There was also disappointment for Ben Davies and Wales, who were knocked out on penalties by Bosnia and Herzegovina after the game ended 1-1 after extra time. Despite being injured, Davies, who received his 100th cap for Wales in October international break, was present on the Welsh bench, supporting his teammates in their 4-2 defeat on penalties. Randu Kolo Muani was named among the substitutes in France friendly against Brazil, but did not feature as France managed to defeat Carlo Ancelotti's side 2-1, despite playing the majority of the second half with 10 men. Ben Davies was presented with a golden cap on Thursday night, the 26th of March, in honour of him reaching 100 caps for Wales. First capped in 2012, Ben became one of the only 4th Welshman to reach a century after Gareth Bale with 111, Chris Gunter and Wayne Hennessy both on 109, when he led his country out against Belgium in the FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifier back in October 2025. Our longest serving current player received his special memento from Spurs legend and compatriot Cliff Jones, the last surviving Welsh player from the 1958 FIFA World Cup squad. Prior to last night's World Cup playoff semi-final against Bosnia-Herzegovina at Cardiff Stadium, unable to feature as he works his way back from surgery on a fractured ankle, the centre-back was watching from the Welsh bench, supporting his teammates as his nation were agonisingly eliminated on penalties following a 1-1 draw after extra time. Cliff Jones, 91, was capped 59 times, scoring 16 goals and played 5 times in the World Cup. Both he and Ben started out at Swansea City before spending the majority of their club careers at Spurs, with the Welsh pair two of only 29 players to make over 350 appearances for us since we joined the Football League in 1908. Cliff sits 19th on the all-time list with 378 appearances during his decade in North London, and Ben is currently 15 behind on 360 games in Lily White to sit joint 25th with Jermaine Defoe. Lucas Bergvall has been talking to the Swedish media about returning from injury. It's been tough, but it was incredibly fun to be back and that we won. Yes, it went quickly, but it's hard to say when you get an injury like that. It varies from person to person how quickly it goes. I was lucky to get back in time. I think most people counted me out when I got that injury. I just tried to get back as quickly as possible and just get back. Bergvall was asked if he was ready to start the next game. He said, "It's up to the coach, but I'm ready." Prior to Sweden's game, Sweden boss Graham Potter said the Spurs man is super important for the national team. On this comment, Bergvall said, "Did he say that about me? First of all, it's incredibly fun to hear him say that. I'm just trying to come here and help the team as best I can now after the injury, contribute what I can so that we can get to the World Cup." Reports in Germany are stating that Borussia Dortmund are interested in Bayern Munich striker Matthijs Tel. Tel agent stated, "I don't know if Dortmund really wants Matthijs, but honestly, a return to Bayern is the only way Matthijs will come back to Germany. He can't play for another club in the Bundesliga. He loves FC Bayern." The Premier League broadcast section process for match week 35 has been completed with a change made to our trip to Aston Villa. Our visit to Villa Park on Saturday the 2nd of May has now a new kick-off time of 12:30 and will be live on TNT Sports. But please note that this move may move to 7 p.m. on Sunday the 3rd of May should Aston Villa reach the UEFA Europa League semi-finals. And finally, former Spurs boss, former Spurs star Gus Poyet, talking on Sky and TalkSport, said about Tottenham's current situation: "They are in danger. You need to find the problem and sort it out yesterday. It's Sunderland away next. All the best going up there." First, I wouldn't want any coach to get sacked, but I thought that before Igor Tudor, it was more clear. Now it's a different decision. It was more clear before about what kind of character or coach. Now it's a big call. Beginning of the season, it was someone who knows the league well, Thomas Frank. Middle of the season, someone who doesn't know it. So what next? Are you going to find one in the middle? I was in that position. I was in a worse position at Sunderland. I was 7 points adrift and we stayed up. Don't ask me how from outside. Yes, I think I could save them. Then from inside is when if you find that problem inside, then definitely. You need to know that. It's very easy for everyone to stay outside, that they know what to do when they go in. Do players need something? Yes, but I think it's simple as possible. Play your players in their best position and play. When I joined, it was a team of men: Terry Sheringham, Les Ferdinand, Tim Sherwood, Darren Arrington. We were men. We were in the tunnel looking at each other saying, "We are men here." But slowly after that, the following year and my last one, we lost that and we started losing characters. It's difficult to say whether Spurs have men in the team now. It's a difference having men and having character. I think in the last few years, it's been too easy to be a Tottenham player. Best training ground, best stadium. What is your objective playing at Spurs? Difficult words. So my thoughts on these stories. We'll go through them one by one. Sean Dyche. Do I want Sean Dyche at Tottenham? If you'd have asked me that question at the beginning of the year, I said no, thank you. Not a chance. Not a chance would I have wanted someone like Sean Dyche, Sam Allardyce, or anyone like that. But at this moment in time, where we are, I just do not know how Tudor is going to get any points out of this team. And it really does feel like we need someone who knows the league and knows how to get out of this kind of trouble. And whether that's Sean Dyche, I don't know. Personally, I can't see him coming in for a kind of SOS type appointment, 7 games to keep us in the league, there you go, and walk away. I'm not sure Sean is that sort of guy. But it would look good on his CV for sure, to save us from relegation, and would make an awful lot of money, I suspect. But again, not a decision for me. Would I be disappointed if he came in? No, I think I'd be quite relieved. But I'd only ever want that as a short-term fix-it kind of scenario. I really want Tottenham to be aiming for the top. And with all due respect to Sean Dyche, I don't think he's ever been in that position of having a top job, looking at winning kind of trophies and competitions. Moving on to the Zerbi thing from Fabrizio Romano, I think he's made that clear. You know, everything he's reporting, he's saying Zerbi's interested in the summer. If Tottenham stay in the Premier League, then of course it looks a good option. Coming in for a few months, potentially getting relegated and having to spend a year in the Championship as a minimum may not be something that he would be interested in. There will be other jobs coming up for sure. We know that that's likely to happen with managerial moves at the end of the season. So there may be better jobs out there that he may be holding out for. So I don't think it's signed, sealed and delivered anyway, to be honest with you. Moving on to Spurs Reach and their statement, and I see that Spurs Lily Whites have also put out a statement as well, which we'll probably touch on tomorrow. But I think it's pretty clear that they're a DEI, an inclusion group and so on. And Zerbi has been foolish, in my view, of backing Mason Greenwood. I don't think you can diminish what he did and so on, hence why he's not playing in his country. Great player, very talented young man and everything. And I guess as a manager, you want to get the best out of him. You want him to feel that he's supported and wanted and so on. So I guess there may be a bit of that in there. And I don't think you can always judge a person on one thing. I mean, if you look at the Arteta thing with Thomas Partey, although, you know, currently just under investigation, not officially guilty of anything at this moment in time. I think we were all very critical, remain very critical of their stance at supporting him as a player, continuing to play him, and so on and so forth. So I think there is a responsibility from the manager and from the club, and I think that would be one of the things that they would have to deal with. Should Zerbi come in, I think it would be important for him to make clear what his view was and why he was saying what he was saying and what his values and so on are, if he was ever going to appease everybody. And it's a difficult thing because some people won't care whether what he said previously. Some people will be, really upset about what he said and so on. Some people will be nonplussed. But of course, in this day and age, there is a level of responsibility, and I think they're right in calling it out, and I think it's something that needs to be addressed if and when Zerbi would be taking over. Moving on to Yves Bissouma leaving at the end of the season. I'll make this one's really easy for me. See you later, mate. Thanks for nothing. Really disappointed in that player. I thought he was really good for Brighton. But since he's come to Tottenham, for whatever reason, I've not seen anything from him that really suggests he's a top player of the level that we want and need. And the fact that they're talking about Nice and Galatasaray and West Ham and things like that, the Audi League and MLS, kind of suggests that we shouldn't be fishing in that pond. And as far as I'm concerned, whilst he may be a player in the squad, for me it's not good enough, and he's not done well enough for us. And I don't like to sit on nostalgia. I think it's time for him to move on. And along with Kolo Muani, if they want to share a taxi, I'm happy to chip in. International roundup, mixed bag for a lot of those players. I'm not a massive international football fan. I don't follow it too well. I will look at the World Cup when it's played, the European League and stuff. Only because I, like everybody, get sucked into there. It's coming home nonsense. So it's not really for me to kind of go through each of those stories. It's good to see Dragushin get back into the Romania squad and playing regularly, because that will help him in terms of his fitness and so on. And of course, Lucas Bergvall as well, getting more minutes, albeit a small amount, but he's on his way back, and that's important for the club, and that's what I'm interested in. I am happy to see that Ben Davies has been presented with his golden cap, especially by Cliff Jones. I think that's a really, really nice touch. Both Wales legends, both Wales Tottenham legends to a certain extent. Some may disagree about Ben Davies, but having been at the club over 10 years and been a loyal servant who's never complained and been super professional and done a job when he's been asked to do it, whatever that job is, even as an inverted left back, I don't think you can diminish his input to the cause for Tottenham Hotspur. And I think one day he will come back as a manager for sure. Strikes me as that sort of person. So yeah, really pleased for him. It's really good. Really good news, and a long way to continue. Hopefully he will get fit enough, and maybe he even plays in the World Cup. Oh no, he's out now. Of course he is. Sorry, just jumping ahead of myself. Let's go on to the Matisse Tell story. Well, Matisse Tell isn't a Bayern Munich player. He's a Tottenham player. We signed him permanently. But Tell's agent cleared that they wouldn't expect him to go to Dortmund because he loves Bayern so much. Okay, but I don't expect him to go anyway because he's signed for Tottenham and he's actually now just starting to have an impact. So I think it would be foolish for Tottenham to let him go. I think he has something to offer, even if that is as part of the squad rather than a starter, if we are to spend some money in the summer and bring in bigger names, if we stay in the Premier League. But he is one of those players, in my view, that he's putting the effort in to try to do something for this club, and I think that's important. I think he has got the fight in him, and I think it would be foolish to let him go anyway. But don't see it happening. So I think it's just one of those stories they put out to fill the gaps during an international break. The match against Aston Villa, of course, moved to 12:30. Okay, that's one thing. If they reach the Europa League semi-finals, then it moves to a Sunday at 7 p.m. in the evening on a Easter weekend. I'm sure there'll be loads of trains available. There won't be any problems on the road for coaches or anything like that. And of course, everyone has bank holidays off, don't they? So no one will have to get back to get to work the next day, will they? It's just another one of those television schedule. Let's get the most out of the TV audience and not worry about the match-going fan. It beggars belief sometimes, 7 o'clock on a Sunday evening, as if they haven't got enough Sunday games as it is. For me, it's just annoying as a match-going fan. But I do understand the draw of the TV, the money of the TV and all the rest of it. We are just pawns in their game, aren't we? So not a lot you can say about that situation. And finally, let's just talk about Gus Poyet. It's interesting, isn't it? Every report you see from a former player says yes, they think they could keep Tottenham in the league. And as Gus has said in this statement or this interview, it's easy to say from the outside until you get on the inside, and then you realise what the real problem is. So we're all surmising, here's the problem, blah, blah, blah. But until you get in there and you actually see the players and understand what's going on, you won't really know. But there are still good points in there. Play the players in their right positions. Play the players who are good enough and play together. Those are two things that I think everyone can really agree on, and two things that are not really happening under Igor Tudor. I think the other point he makes in there is around the fact that when he was there was big characters. I think you mentioned Teddy Sheringham, Les Ferdinand, Tim Sherwood, Darren Anderton, all big characters. Do the club still have the characters? Have they got those characters now? Or, are these just lots of young kids who don't really have that level of maturity to really go out there and fight? I don't know. But when you consider that Matisse Tell is 20 and Archie Gray is 19, 20, and they're probably our most influential players that are really going for it. Xavi Simons, how old's Simons? 20, 21, something like that? You know, these guys are young guys who are really fighting. And to me, some of the older guys, you know, your Romeros and so on, are the ones that are kind of falling short. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. It's all speculation at the moment over this managerial scenario. And I suspect we'll be talking about it consistently until someone at Tottenham comes out and actually makes a statement. They're very quick to make statements when things are going okay. But when things are not going too well, that's when you need a calm head or leadership. So Vinay Venkatesham should be coming out and talking to the fans. He's done it before. It was one of the flaws that Daniel Levy had, that he didn't communicate well enough with the fans. He didn't get them on board. He didn't engage. And Venkatesham has been brought in to do exactly that. And he started off like that. He started off doing that, having regular catch-ups, interviews, all that kind of stuff. You know, putting out the scarves, the flags, with the tifos, working with the fan groups and so on. He started doing all that sort of stuff, but now it's getting a little bit ropey. He seems to be disappearing. And of course, we've all seen the video of him getting a little bit of abuse in the West Stand after the defeat against Nottingham Forest. Time for him to stand up. Anyway, listen, thanks ever so much for watching. If you've made it this far, I'm sorry it's quite a long one today. As I said at the beginning, if you don't subscribe to the channel, please do consider doing that. Give us a thumbs up, a hype, comment in the comment section below. I read all of those to get people's feedback on what we're doing. I do have my own channel, which I am trying to build up for sure. And Chris has given me this little role of being able to do some updates and stuff. So if you like what I do, if you think, yeah, I could listen to you, please do come over to the channel and give us a sub and, you know, watch my videos and again, share your comments and so on. Audio platforms, all major audio platforms are covered. So please do consider following and leaving a review. It means the world and helps the channel grow very much. So, as I say, nothing left to say. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.